We received a scam email last week pretending to be from the taxman offering a refund if we just filled out an online form with our credit card details. Many of you alerted us to this scam as well, so we thought we would share some of the methods we used to spot that this wasn't a legitimate email. Number 1, well, the common sense test. Okay, the taxman does occasionally give money back to you, but not like this. You'll either know about it from submitting a tax return, or you'll just receive a check in the post, as my wife did a couple of years ago. Secondly, think about whether the taxman even knows your email address. Perhaps if you do a tax return, you've given him your email address in the past, otherwise he's got no way of knowing it, so he won't be sending you an email through it. Now, as you can see here, we've got the email itself in Thunderbird. It's not the original, I've had to forward it from my work email address, but it gives you some idea about how it will look. Now, the first thing you'll see here is that Thunderbird has actually detected that it may be a scam. So there you are, this should keep you safe, and it's a good reason for using Thunderbird. We're going to ignore this warning to show what might happen if an email does get through the filter. The second level of security that Thunderbird offers you is that it blots remote content from the message. These emails are actually web pages, so they can load in images and other information directly from the internet. That can alert the scammer that your email address is active, so Thunderbird blots it. Now we're going to show the remote content here just to give an indication of some of the tricks used by the scammer. So as we scroll down, you can see that there's notice of tax return for year 2011. Also notice here there's some reference numbers. Again, if you do a tax return, you'll know that you have a tax reference number from the taxman. This doesn't look anything like it, so it's not legitimate. Scroll down a bit further, Thunderbird has actually inserted the form that's attached to the email. And you can see here that it uses the styles from the taxman's website. Now, one way you can catch out some of the more inept scam emails is to hover the mouse over the links. You can see at the bottom, Thunderbird shows you where the link is going. Now, this scammer is a bit more clever. He's actually using legitimate links to the taxman's website. So if you click on them, it will look as if the email did come from the taxman. Scrolling through the form, you can see that it needs all of your information. Again, some of these information requests should set warning bells going. Why do they need your driver's license number? And why they need your security code? In fact, why are they asking for your credit card in the first place? The taxman would make a money transfer into your bank account, not your credit card. And then at the bottom is the submit button, which we're not going to click on. Now, there are some ways that you can check a bit further as to whether or not the email really has come from the taxman. Now, the first thing to look for is the from address up here. Now, again, unfortunately, this is showing my work email address, but it may show something other than hmrc.gov.uk. Don't rely on this, though, because it is possible to spoof this information. You can also see the journey that the email has taken on its way to you. Click on Other Actions, and then View Source. Now, this is quite a complicated looking lot of text, but what it's basically showing you is the journey that the email has taken. And what you need to look for are these received lines here. Go for the very first one, and this is the first step that the email made on its way to you. Now, again, unfortunately, this isn't showing the scam email itself, it's showing the journey that the email took from my work account to my personal account. But you can see here that there's a from computer and the computer that received it. And again, look at the last two or maybe three words separated by full stops. That's the domain that the computer is on. Here it's outlook.com. Now, don't worry about the servers in the middle. They are just innocent third parties just forwarding the message on. So if you want, you can also have a look at the attachment. That's this form that's been displayed here. You can see down at the bottom, Thunderbird has shown that it's there. Now, don't just left click on this. We don't want to open it in a web browser. It's possible that it could do something malicious to your browser. So we're going to look at the actual text of the web page itself. So right click on it, click on Save As. So put it to our desktop, click on Save. We're going to minimize Thunderbird. Now, what you want to open this with is a text editor, not a web browser, never a web browser. We use the text editor called Notepad++. You can use Notepad that comes with Windows, but Notepad++ will add some color coding to the document that will make it easier to understand. Click on File, Open. Here's the form, and here it is in Notepad++. Now, again, a lot of this looks quite legitimate. This is some styling information about how the fonts should look and the colours, and you can see here that it's online.hmrc.gov.uk, so that's a legitimate website. The thing is, anyone can include a link in a web page that uses that file, so this doesn't show that it's come from the taxman. Similarly, as we come down here, now this is the green bar that we saw here. And these are the different links, and again, they are all legitimate looking hmrc.gov.uk. So you might be forgiven for thinking that this is legitimate. But if we go down a bit further, we'll actually see the form that contains all of the fields with the credit card details and the driver's license that it was asking you for. Now this line here is the line that actually creates the form, and the action is where the information in the form is going to be sent. Now, this is looking a bit suspicious because this isn't an hmrc.gov.uk web address. It's not even a proper web address. It's an IP address. That's the direct location of the computer on the internet that's going to receive your information. So it's a scam. One last thing you can do is you can actually look up some information about this number, this address on the internet. So we can copy it into the clipboard, fire up our web browser, and use this service here from an organization called APNIC. And they will let you query this IP address and tell you who owns it and some information about them. So paste the IP address in the search for box and click on search. We don't recommend that you actually do anything with this information. It's just a helpful added way of finding out whether or not this is a legitimate email. However, the taxman is interested in hearing about these scam emails. So if you go to the hmrc.gov.uk/security/reporting.htm website, you will see that there is an email address here for you to forward the email address to them and then delete it afterwards.